What's up, YouTube? This is What's Your Diet coming at you. I'm coming at you guys with something a little bit different today. Y'all just gonna have to excuse me here for a second. And I don't know whether to call this a rant. I don't know what to call this video, but this is just a random thought that I was having. My son comes home the other day from school, and I say, Jalen, how was your day? He said, oh, Ma, it was good. He said, but what's food stamps? I'm like, food stamps? I said, where you learn about food stamps at? He was like, well, the kids at school were talking about food stamps. So I told him, I said, well, food stamps is, when you apply for assistance from the government, because you may be considered low income, and they give you food stamps so that you can, feed your family, feed your kids. So I said, well, why were you guys talking about food stamps at school? He said, well, they was kind of teasing me because I didn't know what food stamps were. I said, what? I said, they're teasing you because you don't know what food stamps are? He was like, yeah, because, they all get food stamps and everything, and I didn't know what it was. Do we get food stamps? I said, no, baby, we don't get food stamps. Maybe that's why you don't know what food stamps are. I said, well, food stamps, is a really old term. They don't call it food stamps anymore. I think they still call it a link card. I don't know. I think in Indiana they have this new name as of lately, but whatever. Anyway, so I said, so they're teasing you because you don't know what food stamps are. He said, yeah, they was also teasing me because we don't get food stamps. What is going on in our homes, in our economy, and in how we are raising our children? I remember there was once upon a time, if a child dared to ask about the household finances, that child would get put down to bits. They get the black beat off of them or get beat down to the white meat. There was no heard of thing of asking your parent about the family, about the household bills, about where the money is coming from outside of mom and dad getting up and going to work. And, this really shocked me, and I had to explain to my son. I said, baby, don't feel bad because we don't get food stamps. That's not a bad thing. That's an excellent thing. Because what that says is that mom and dad gets up and go to work and we do the damn thing. We do whatever it is it takes so that we don't have to go and apply for Medicaid and get a food stamp card. I said, so don't feel bad because the kids are teasing you for not knowing what food stamps are. That's an excellent thing. But you know what? And don't get me wrong, you guys. I'm not putting anybody down. If you receive a link card, food stamps, or whatever it is that they call it in your state, I'm not mad at you. Because we as parents have to do what it is that we have to do to take care of our kids. Whether we making the bacon or not. We all know it's a bad economy right now. You know what I'm saying? There's probably more people getting food stamps now than it was 10 years ago. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, why would you share that with your children? Why would you allow that to be a conversation piece for your children to go out in the public and talk about? Why would you put it in your child's mind to be proud to receive food stamps? I mean, I just cannot, my understanding just don't go that far. Now, while it's not a bad thing, you have to think about what it is that you are teaching your children when it comes to maintaining a household. Applying for a link card should be like a last-ditch effort. And don't get me wrong, guys. I used to have a link card, years ago. I bought a house. A year after I bought my house, I got laid off from my job and I was off work for 2 years. Did I have a link card? Absolutely. Did my son know I had a link card? Absolutely not. That's not his place to worry about what's going on with the financials, how the roof stays over our head, and how the food get on the table. All he needs to know and understand is my mama got this. My mama gonna do whatever it is that she got to do to put bacon on the table. And not only that, guys, for those of us out there, that are having income troubles. I hear people say, oh, there's no jobs out there. I don't know what I'm going to do, this and that and the other. Let me tell you something. Number one, yes, there are jobs out there. The question is, are you qualified for those jobs? And if you are qualified for those jobs, are you putting yourself out there in a manner that's going to catch somebody's eye to offer you that job? That's the first and foremost thing. The next thing is, okay, you're out there trying, bust your butt and this and that and the other. Either the job that you have is not making the ends meet so well, or you just have no job at all and you're having a problem finding a job. Your unemployment is running out, or you don't have unemployment anymore. Let me tell you something, people. Sometimes you have to create your own job. Sometimes you just got to do what it do, get up off your ass, and find a way to make it work for you. Now remember I said, I was a homeowner. I didn't have a job for 2 years. After the first year of buying my house, my unemployment only lasted me 6 months, okay? I did the damn thing, y'all. I got up off my butt. I printed me some flyers, posted them in the train stations, the bus stops, at school, grocery stores, anywhere I could think of to put a flyer. Need your hair braided? I'll braid your hair. Need your hair trimmed? I'll trim your hair. Because I had nothing else to hustle out there in the streets, to make my ends meet. But guess what? I was in a predominantly black neighborhood. All the guys walking around with all these braids and this and that and other. I'd be damned if I let somebody walk past me that had their hair twisted and then say, hey, you know what, I give you a discount on doing your hair, just so I can make my ends meet, just so I can continue to pay my mortgage. I didn't have Section 8. I didn't have assistance for my energy bills. Nah. Still had to pay my phone bill, my water bill. Still had to keep my house maintained. So that's what I did. And y'all, I was hustling. You talking about a sister back being broke off after braiding hair all day. But guess what? It kept a roof over my child's head. And he didn't know any different. All he knew was mama was doing the damn thing. Okay? So, I just want us as a people. And I'm not just talking about just black people, y'all. Everybody. Black, white, Mexican, Asian, Hispanic, whatever. Take time to think about how you are raising your children to handle their finances, and teach them things that they can do when jobs don't work out. Because if you have nothing else to fall back on, what are you going to do? How can you raise a family? How can you take care of yourself if you have nothing to fall back on? And I'm going to be the, true testimony to this. My money ain't the greatest right now. I'm not living in a lap of luxury, you know what I'm saying? I'm in this apartment right now, Yeah, I have my house. I had my house for 8 years, you know what I'm saying? But, the economy and, making my ends meet got the best of me, So I had to know when enough was enough. It was nice to have my house, to have the freedom of being a homeowner, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes you have to just know when to let go, okay? So, I work, my husband works 2 jobs. You know, and, you know, we still, you know, don't make the amount of money that we need to get what it is that we want. And I ain't talking about little piano stuff, like y'all. You know, I want a nice, big, beautiful, fabulous house, which is going to require a nice down payment. You know, so we are out here hustling, you know. The job that I have, you know, it pays me all right. You know, but do it pay me what I really feel that I deserve to make? No. So, you know, I picked up a side hustle, you know. I'm selling these diet pills, you know what I'm saying? It's working marvelously for me and a bunch of other people. You know, I'm marketing my V3 any and everywhere I can, you know what I'm saying? And it's bringing me nice, sustainable income, almost comparable to what I make on my full-time job, which is great, you know, because I've not been in the business that long, you know. So, you know, I mean, you guys, you got to reach out there, you know what I'm saying? Don't let this economy get you down. Go out there and do what it is you got to do. You know what I'm saying? You want to join me on selling these diet pills? Hit a sister up. You know, I'm always looking for people, you know what I'm saying, to, you know, uplift them and help them better their situations and this, that, and the other. But most importantly, guys, teach these babies right. These kids are our future. If we don't teach these kids right now, where are we going to be when we 80 years old, y'all? You see these fools that's in the White House now. You see these fools that's on Congress Hill right now. You see these fools that's on, you know, that's making the laws in our state, our governors, our state representatives, the mayors. These elected officials ain't doing nothing for nobody but themselves. They will tell you any and everything that they think they want you to hear. You know, just to get your vote. And when they get in office, they doing their own damn thing. You have to keep in mind that your child could be one of those representatives. Your child could be the one making these buffoonery decisions. You know, moving the economy backwards instead of forward. Letting the jobs leave the country. So, therefore, people here don't have jobs. You know, taxing the poor, you know what I'm saying, beyond belief, and letting the rich pretty much get a free ride. We got to make sure we raising our kids right, y'all. It starts with you. It don't start with some role model that you think is a role model on TV. I mean, on TV, that's who they are on TV. When them doors close, they somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Look at Michael Vick. Everybody thought Michael Vick was this big old role model. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he's a great quarterback. Blah, 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 blah. Behind closed doors, he fighting dogs. Come on, y'all. Wake up. On that note, I'm out.